My 8-year-old daughter was left in foster care by my parents while they flew to Hawaii with my sister's kids. The note said, "Sorry, sweetie, we couldn't take care of her." I didn't shout, I just filed a quiet report. I was deployed overseas when I got the call. My commanding officer pulled me aside and said there was a family emergency. I needed to call home immediately. My hands were shaking when I dialed. A social worker answered. She said my daughter Lily was in emergency foster care. She said my parents had dropped her off at a fire station 3 days ago with a note pinned to her backpack. The note said, "Sorry, sweetie, we just couldn't take care of her anymore." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. My daughter was 8 years old. I had left her with my parents for a 6-month deployment. They had done this twice before with no problems. They said they loved having her. They said she was no trouble at all. They said I should focus on my service and not worry about a thing. I asked the social worker what happened. She said she didn't know. She said my parents weren't answering their phones. She said Lily was safe but confused and asking for me every hour. I requested emergency leave. It took 4 days to get home, 4 days of not sleeping, 4 days of imagining my little girl alone and scared, 4 days of wondering what my parents had done. When I landed, I went straight to the foster home. Lily ran into my arms so hard she almost knocked me over. She was crying and shaking and holding on to me like I might disappear. "They left me, Mommy," she kept saying. "Grandma and Grandpa left me." I held her for a long time. I didn't let go until she fell asleep. The foster mother was kind. She said Lily had been quiet but eating well. She said Lily kept asking if she did something wrong. That broke me more than anything else. I took Lily home the next day. I got her settled with her favorite blanket and her stuffed elephant. I made her pancakes even though it was dinner time. I read her 3 stories before bed. She slept in my room that night and every night after for 2 weeks. Once she was stable, I started making calls. My parents still weren't answering. My sister wasn't answering either. I called my aunt who lived near them. She picked up on the second ring. "Where are my parents?" I asked. She hesitated. "They're in Hawaii. They left last week." My stomach dropped. "Hawaii? With your sister and her kids? They rented a big house on the beach. They've been posting pictures all week." I hung up and opened my sister's Instagram. There they were. My mom and dad, my sister's 3 kids, all of them smiling on the beach, matching swimsuits, sunset dinners, snorkeling trips. They were on vacation. They had abandoned my daughter and flown to Hawaii. I scrolled through the photos. Not one mention of Lily. Not one post about her. It was like she didn't exist. I called my mom. This time she answered. "Oh, honey, you're home early," she said. Her voice was light, happy, like nothing was wrong. "Where is Lily?" I asked. "What do you mean?" "She's with the neighbors. We arranged for them to watch her while we were gone." "No, she's not. She was in foster care. You dropped her at a fire station." Silence. Long silence. "That's not what happened," my mom finally said. "We left her with the Hendersons. They must have made a mistake. There was a note, Mom, in your handwriting, pinned to her backpack." More silence. Then I heard my dad's voice in the background. "Just tell her the truth." My mom sighed. "We couldn't handle her, okay? She was being difficult. She cried every night. She wouldn't eat what we made. She kept asking for you. We couldn't take her on the trip because your sister's kids needed our attention. We thought leaving her somewhere safe was the right thing to do." I felt my whole body go cold. "You abandoned my daughter at a fire station because she missed me." "We didn't abandon her. We made sure she would be taken care of. She's 8 years old. She thought you didn't love her anymore. You're being dramatic. She's fine. Kids are resilient." I hung up. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just sat there staring at the wall. The next morning I called a lawyer. I told her everything. She said what my parents did was considered child abandonment. She said I had grounds for a criminal complaint. She said the note and the social worker's report would be enough evidence. I filed the report that afternoon. I didn't warn my parents. I didn't give them a chance to explain. They had made their choice. Now they would face the consequences. 2 days later, the police showed up at their hotel in Hawaii. My aunt called me that night crying. "They got arrested at the resort in front of everyone. How could you do this to your own parents? How could they do this to my daughter?" She didn't have an answer for that. My parents took a plea deal. Community service, parenting classes, barred from unsupervised contact with any minor for 5 years, including Lily. My sister called after the sentencing. "You ruined their lives over nothing. You should have handled this privately. They left my daughter at a fire station like she was trash." She hung up. She hasn't called since. I moved to a new city. Lily started a new school. Last week she asked about her grandparents. I told her some people make choices that hurt the people they're supposed to love. I told her it wasn't her fault. She said, "I'm glad you came back for me, Mommy."